stealing Mark's pen. This is Mark. No.
Okay. This is a meeting of Senate rules, so call the meeting to order. And we're today looking at a new and revised policy on sexual harassment. And for that, I'll turn it over first to Senator Clarkson to say a few words, and then Senate Secretary will walk us through the changes.
Thank you. What you have in front of you is the updated, now uniform sexual harassment policy. The House and the Senate agreed last year and worked towards and edited and redid the sexual harassment prevention policy so that it would mirror each chamber. And where we will differ is on the procedures. So the first thing we tackled, because we wanted to get it up and on the website and clear with every senator, this will go out to every senator after we hope you approve it. This is a uniform policy now in both chambers. It's updated, it's very similar, and it covers a whole range of things, and Secretary Bloomer will go through this with us. But it sets out the policy, it defines it, it gives you examples of sexual harassment. It identifies how we report and respond to sexual harassment, although the procedures are technically how we do it. It identifies potential penalties for engaging in sexual harassment and who it covers, and it has resources and training information. But we're very proud of this work. I would have to say, Counselor Damian Leonard and our Secretary, John Bloomer, have done, and Melissa have done terrific work on it. Thank you. We feel that we recommend that we pass this. Unlike the House, our committee can recommend its passage to the Senate Rules Committee. So we are recommending for passage this updated Vermont Senate policy for the prevention of sexual harassment.
Okay. So just as a little background, about 3 or 4 years ago, there was a policy that was adopted, policies and procedures that were identical in the House and the Senate. After those were adopted, the House decided to make some changes. They wanted to refine it. There were a couple different things changing. So they went and made some changes. They basically, your earlier one is a combination. If you look at it, I have copies. It's sort of all together. Talks about policy in the beginning, but it just kind of runs right into the procedures. They took theirs, and the House Sexual Harassment Panel can adopt their own policy and procedures. It's delegated by the body. Our preference is that it not be that way, and I could explain why, but each chamber can decide how they want to do it, and they decided that the panel can do it. So they went through the process with some consultation from Senator Clarkson, some of the changes they were doing, and they went and adopted this new policy and procedure. We reviewed that both internally and then through the committee, and what you see before you is about as close as you can on the policy. And so it is separated out. If you want to, we put a table of contents in.
Yes, really great.
And so in that sense, the beginning part, pages, we've always put what the Sexual Harassment Rule 101 was. That's on page 1, and then 3 through 9 are the policies that are really almost identical. We made a few changes, and if someone's interested, I can show you that they're really minor. The changes would involve flipping things from like the Speaker to the Pro Tem, Senate rules for the House, Senate Sexual Harassment Panel for the House Sexual Harassment Panel. There were a couple, I'm not sure there were substantive changes. There were some things about whether or not there was creating an additional legal duty beyond what the law required. With consultation between some work from our office and Damian Leonard from Legislative Council, we came up with some wording that's sort of in between. So in that sense, the policy itself is probably within 10 feet of each other. If you're looking at miles and miles, they're really, really close. And that's all that's been touched in this draft, and we separated it. We have our office has some real concerns about replicating what the House procedure is. And we're going to be working through on our side how it works with the panel, I think, tomorrow.
Yes, we begin the work on the procedures tomorrow.
And so it's relative, in the broad scheme of things, it's relatively minor. There are a couple things, if we were starting from scratch, there are a couple areas that we would recommend more substantial changes, but at this point, the idea was to try to get them similar to the House. And then maybe over the next year or something, depending on how the two committees work together, there may be some more major changes in the policy.
Just on the procedural part, because I knew we were working on, when we adopted the policy, even though the procedures are hooked to this document, are we adopting them and then we're going to amend them, or we're just adopting the policy?
We're only asking today that we adopt the policy.
Okay.
And then we are, if you have some spare time, we'd love to have you look at the procedures. If you have any input, Andy's on the committee. But if the three of you have any additional input on the procedures, if you want to look at them, we'd love to have them because we're beginning work on the Senate procedures tomorrow.
Okay.
So we're talking about pages 3 through 9?
Yes.
And the only other change, if you wanted to know, is they're actually just separated. So some of the stuff in your
Yeah,
existing
we
one, plus the appendixes after the procedures, it's what you're really looking at 3 through 9 in a little different organization, but the procedures themselves in the middle have not been touched.
Right.
And the addendum A is that new? I found that helpful on the committee. I didn't know if that was in the last
It's in the
one.
existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at the end though. And so,
Okay.
it probably was right to move it with policy so people can easily find it. That's one of the reasons that we put in the table of contents. I'm a skimmer. And so if you're really looking for something, you don't want to look through 14 pages. Having a table of contents sort of gives you a place to kind of direct.
It's good. And I would just add that this has been a work that the last Senate panel began with the House, truing these up. So, I mean, we may have different procedures of how to deal with them, but we all work in the same building. We all have the same people that you know, and the issue is similar enough we felt to have a uniform policy. So, anyway, that's our recommendation, is that we adopt the policy and that we continue to work, and we will bring to you in the next couple of weeks an updated procedure.
We have a motion to move the new policy favorably. Second. Discussion.
I'd just like to thank Melissa and John for their terrific work, and Damien, because they've really put in lots of time and effort on this and helped us re-envision this, so thank you.
Thank you. So noted. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, and we have adopted unanimously the pages 3 through 9.
We will have it on the website this afternoon.
Great,
Okay.
thank you very much.
And we are adjourned.
Right.